This week's episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by GoDaddy,
Squarespace, and Brutal Legend.
It's like when I go shopping for jeans. Yeah, and I put on a new pair of jeans and I look really good. Or shirt, whatever, any article of clothing. And you're like, awesome, now I'm gonna look good from now on. Because now I'm finally getting a good pair of jeans. And then I take them off and I put on my old shit and I have to walk around the mall in my old crusty clothes.
You're saying going home and playing the video games you already have when you've been playing all the stuff you can't play yet.
Seeing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I'm gonna go home and play Modern Warfare and be like, I don't wanna play this. I wanna play cool ice level. I don't wanna do this.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Come up with a different analogy than trying on new jeans.
Why? You don't like jeans?
I like jeans fine.
Hey you guys.
Oh, dude.
You guys up here. It's Tim Schafer from Double Fine Productions with your mission. Your mission is to review Up, The Hangover, and also to check out E3, but mostly Brutal Legend, the awesome game starring Jack Black. You can see the other games if you have some time afterwards, but that is your mission. Do not fail.
Three rad guys living normal lives are recruited by a team of super spies. Their missions classified, but you may surmise they battle evil by quoting movie lines. Game and TV guides are used like knives to quell the rise of demon samurais. We know it sounds contrived, but we tell no lies. It's as the name implies, the Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show, episode number 116. I'm Alex Albright.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
As you can see, we are here at E3. What the bleep is going on?
Background provided by the
EA.
wonderful people of
The wonderful people of EA.
Yes.
We're in the top level of the EA booth right now.
Yeah.
Super fun. We just
This
did
Brutal Legend
did
thing.
some livey stuff with Rev 3, which was super cool. We have seen so much crazy stuff you don't even know. So let's get into the show.
Somehow we're gonna cram it all into one show.
I don't even know, but let's get into the show so we can tell these bitches.
This week in movies from our remote location.
Secret, undisclosed. Look, wait, where are we?
I know
We're
there's
gonna
something
talk
secret about this.
Up, because we didn't have a chance to talk about it last week.
True.
And then we're going to talk about The Hangover.
Yeah, we're at E3 right now, but we're talking movies.
Well, we
Because
can't.
That's what we do.
We can't go a full week without talking movies. Dan's
summer.
little boy head would
Yeah.
explode.
It's the summer. I mean,
Especially
it's just, like,
talking about,
crazy.
especially a Pixar movie. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
fair.
A new
Yeah.
Pixar movie and what you think is the greatest comedy of the summer, going to be the best comedy of the summer, which you haven't
Ironically,
seen.
you haven't seen.
Ironically, I haven't seen.
We'll get to
my
that.
most excitement, but we'll talk about that.
So Up is from, so you know, the Pixar movies sort of, the makers come in pairs. So Brad Bird did The Incredibles and Ratatouille.
Yep.
Andy Andrew Stanton did Nemo and last year's Wall-E.
Right.
This year's comes from the guys who made Monsters, Inc.
Oh, interesting.
And Up is about an old man.
That's how they're able to put out a movie a year.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Right,
boop, boop,
they had,
boop,
like,
stagger it.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up is about an old man
Yeah.
and a young boy
Yeah.
who somehow travel to a far-off land.
Yeah.
gonna be
Now, how
vague
much of
because
this?
it doesn't
I was
need to
gonna
be-
say, how much of this?
Whatever
Sounds
you
a
want to
little
do in
creepy
your
when you put it
I
like
always
that.
like to stay
It
vague
is.
in my description, but feel free
It's
to say
called
whatever you
vague.
want.
Is how it's pronounced.
Vague. So Mr. Vague,
I will be as vague as I can be.
how did you feel about Up?
You know, I have to say, I'm a big Pixar fan, and I think at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this movie.
It's released in 3D and 2D.
And I had to see it in 2D, but I don't think that really has much of an effect on how I perceive a movie. Although it's exactly how I perceive the movie. But, so that said, I felt like this movie was, the themes of this movie sort of didn't fit with the audience of this movie. I felt like, because this movie starts out very sad, and I mean it's very sad in sort of a life way of this is life. I mean, it sort of made me kind of go like, God, life sucks at sometimes. Like, and they did it just so that you could get into the mindset of this character to then go on this adventure with this character and see the character grow. And so I understand why it happened, but I really felt like it was a disconnect because it was so, the themes were so adult and it was so clearly not a movie made for adults. Though there are, as like any Pixar movie, there were things that adults could enjoy. So I think overall, I really liked this movie. You know, was it as good as some of the Pixar movies of the past, Ratatouille, WALL-E, The Incredibles, Nemo? I don't think so, but it definitely was better than most of the stuff that comes out of other 3D animation studios. But I liked it a lot.
I also saw it in 2D. And I think my take on it is the complete inverse of yours.
Interesting.
I think the first 20 minutes of this movie is one of the most beautiful. If I'd only seen the first 20 minutes of this movie, I would have thought it was one of the most beautiful films I have ever seen. I was weeping, and there's a quote that I love that I think is one of the greatest quotes ever. It's by John Lennon. And he said, "Life is what happens while you're making other plans."
Right.
And I think that could be the byline of this movie.
The first 20 minutes.
Certainly the first 20 minutes.
the whole movie.
The whole movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And I actually think the third act, the action adventure stuff, much like I thought in WALL-E, was the least interesting part. While I fully admit that the action adventure execution is top notch. The sequences themselves are very fun and inventive and wonderful to participate in.
Yeah.
From a story perspective, they were the least interesting for me because I felt like the characters and the sentiment of the film was so strong. I wanted to spend more time with these characters rather than see them in these action adventure moments, which kind of stretch credulity when the older man is doing all these kind of action-y, adventure-y things.
Yeah.
When at the beginning, there's something I want to point out. This movie's PG, it's not G. And the reason for that is there is blood.
A need for parental guidance.
Yeah, well, there's blood. And I think that's probably what got it to PG.
You mean specifically just that one bit of blood, or was there more?
Right.
Oh no,
there's
the
two
beginning
moments,
parts.
but the beginning moment is very jarring.
It is.
Because I don't remember ever seeing blood in a Pixar movie before.
Yeah.
And it happens at the beginning in this moment where the main character lashes out, and it so affected me because, oh my God, there's blood in this cartoon, and it lands so real, and then we eventually get to the point at the end of the movie where things are so over the top and cartoony that I lost that wonderful grounded reality that really made it land so deeply to me.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Dan?
I actually side more with Jeff in that.
I hate you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
But I mean, you'll.
Because I wanted to see that movie, but
I thought the first 20 minutes. I mean, the first 20 minutes of this movie caused a reaction in me that usually happens in the last 20 minutes of a movie,
Agreed.
like Finding Neverland
Agreed.
or
Big Fish.
Field Dreams
Definitely.
or whatever, where I wanted to leave the theater. I mean, I wanted to get away and ugly. I didn't want to just hold in tears. I didn't want a tear to streak. I wanted to go in a car and sob somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's from beauty, really, right?
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's great.
Yeah, it's from a deep sadness, but in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
But I really was bored with the rest of the movie. While there were spectacular moments, specifically the action sequences, I felt that Pixar usually takes the mundane and makes it fantastical.
Or Fundane, I got you.
Fundane. We explore the world of bugs. We explore the undersea world, and what's normally is just it's just fish and a thing. We now are like, oh my God, there's a whole world there that we relate to, and all that stuff. And this movie really is just a fantastical situation that's told in a fantastical way.
Yeah.
It was very un-Pixar for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
Well, because I did want to say it real quick.
Okay.
I think both of those things would be good movies on their own. I really like the end stuff because that's more Pixar-y stuff that I was expecting. And so I like them both. The only reason why it sort of disaffected me from the movie was because the dramatic stuff at the beginning was so pitch perfect, that fit so well and landed so much. I didn't know that was what the movie was going to be for me, and
Right.
that's why it was confusing. I thought it was amazing, the beginning part. So I don't want people walking away going, well, Alex didn't like the part where there was all realistic and cool. I know, but they might have.
Okay, so
I'm just saying.
you're right. You think they're idiots. I understand.
No, I think
didn't
they're
they were
smart
idiots.
people who picked up incorrect vibes.
Okay. All right, moving on. We also
There's a
saw
lot of VIPs walking up. I just
right.
want to say
That's crazy.
Few bars there. So The Hangover just came out. You thought it was going to be the highest-grossing comedy of the summer.
I am still thinking that, maybe?
So The Hangover comes from Todd Phillips, who did Road Trip and Old School and some other movies. And it's basically a high concept, lowbrow film about a bunch of dudes that wake up after their buddy's bachelor party. Buddy's gone missing, and they have to piece together.
they don't remember anything that happened because they're so hungover.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And they have to piece together the night before. Similar to another movie called About Last Night or The Night Before.
Or The Hangover. Now, I'm going to go on record here to say I haven't seen this movie.
So Alex didn't get a chance to see the movie. I'm going to start with Jeff.
I think you should start with Alex.
Yeah.
You can start with me. I'm excited to hear what Jeff says.
What did you think about The Hangover?
You know how I feel about trailers.
Yes.
I'm on record, as Alex would say, not being a fan of trailers and trying to avoid them at every cost.
Yes.
However, I did see this trailer, and it made me laugh out loud many times. The trailer in the theater made me laugh out loud.
Yes.
Oh, I'm scared. I know where this is going.
Unfortunately, the film, I don't think lives up to the trailer. I don't
Damn
think
it.
the film lives up to the premise. The end credits of this movie are far funnier than the movie. The end credits are awesome, but that isn't in the movie, and it's the funniest part of the movie. I think the movie is pretty funny. I laughed a couple of times, and I think a lot of people are going to find enjoyment and will probably criticize me for not liking it because it's wacky and it's over the top. Yes, but I found Zach Galifianakis not very funny. The person all the laughs I got from this movie are whenever what's his name? A toothless guy. What's his name?
From The
Ed
Office.
Helms opened his mouth. I'm a big Ed Helms fan, but he is really the only funny part of this movie, and he's continually funny. But I think overall, the movie just has such a great premise that when you find out really what happened, when they do piece it together, it kind of just always is less interesting than what you think could have happened.
Yeah.
I totally disagree, actually.
Dan.
I'm going to start this off by saying, putting on record what I Twittered a few months ago.
That's already on record. If you Twittered it, it's on record.
I put it in visual record.
record.
That Zach Galifianakis one day will be nominated for an Academy Award. You can't really see it in this movie. It's not, he. All
right, well,
you're saying for
not
G-Force.
juxtaposing for G-Force. But I think he's got this Punch Drunk
Interceding.
Love, Adam
I got you.
Sandler-ishness.
What did you think of the movie?
So I really like The Hangover. I didn't laugh wall to wall throughout the whole movie. I loved the premise, and I thought the movie does such a great job with the premise. I love that. Similar to movies like what Scream does, there's an opening sequence that you think has the lead actress, and then she's gone throughout the rest of the movie. And this movie does that as well. And what you're left with are three character actors, guys that have smaller roles in other things that don't normally carry movies, and here they are. And it sort of makes the real life relationship you have with these actors is what you're seeing on screen, and it really just made me buy the adventure that they're on more, because I wasn't seeing Tom Cruise or Will Ferrell or whatever do the wacky stuff. Like, I wasn't bringing what I know what they really are. I was just seeing their characters. And I thought that was spectacular.
Do you think that this movie is even remotely as funny as I Love You, Man?
I mean, it's hard to relate them because for me,
they're both comedies. That's all I ask.
Yeah, but for me, what I love the ride of this movie, the adventure, discovering the plot was so much more enjoyable than any of the laughs in the movie. So, was that what you thought was?
I agree with both of you on some levels. No, I'm excited to see it. I think. I haven't seen it, but
I laughed more during Up than I did during that movie.
I didn't laugh very much during Up, but.
Are you kidding me, Kevin? I want him.
Well, let's go play some more
let's
video
talk about
games. You want
video games.
E3?
Yep, biatch!
we are at E3, day 1 down.
Day 2 down.
Well, technically day 1. This is the first day of the show.
Right.
We had Microsoft press conference yesterday and
Bim.
EA press conference yesterday.
Bim. And the Ubisoft press conference.
Yesterday. We had Sony press conference this morning
Bim.
and Nintendo press conference this morning.
Bim.
And our first day of being a little bit on the floor.
Bim.
Hopefully you caught our live streams. I think if you go to revision3.com/E3, you can see those archives.
True.
But let's talk about our first day impressions.
Should we just break down each of the different conferences so we can just
let's
talk about them?
You know what? No.
Okay.
I want to do this.
Okay, do with this.
I think the takeaway of the 3 conferences, for
Okay.
me, the big broad headline is motion control is here in a big way.
Well, is coming in a big way.
Well, it's here. Nintendo is winning the console war because of it. There's no other explanation.
Well, here's my big fear about that statement, sir, which is they may be winning the console war in the eyes of statisticians, but
Money. That's the only thing that matters.
well, that's the only thing that matters to them. That is not nearly what matters to me. What matters to
I
me
agree.
is quality of gameplay and enjoyability of those games.
Oh, I'm right there with you, bro.
So my
I'm
big
just
problem
saying-
is when the PS3 comes out with their stick waggle stuff, now all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh crap, what if the next, God of War 4, though, is not going to happen, but whatever, God of War 4 is like, yeah, you can play it like this, but you really need to use these sticks to fight his thing, and now I'm back to playing Wii games that look better, and I'm still going, I don't want to do that with my elbows.
Well, maybe.
That's my big fear.
Although my retort is that
Because you have the same
Let's,
vibe.
instead of
Yeah,
debating the merits of motion control,
what
let's accept.
what I was going to say is my retort to that is it is not a Wii thing with better graphics. I think that what they did, what Sony showed, that motion controller makes the Wii controller, as I said earlier, look like the difference between Guitar Hero and the Tiger Electronics Guitar Jam or whatever.
I agree with that.
And that
but
should
it
Well,
still
let me
gets you
just
stands up.
lay it out, okay?
Yeah.
Because hopefully everybody is up to speed. But in case you're not,
Yeah.
so Nintendo, we know, has been we've
Hawking
been
their
doing
Motion
motion
Plus,
control
yeah.
waggle for a long time. But Motion Plus is the big kind of centerpiece of their press conference, which is more one-to-one movement through the Wiimote. Okay. Microsoft at their press conference showed their Natal, which is a camera system and voice recognition system that allows you to interact with games without using any kind of control.
3D motion capture.
Basically, yes.
That's what it's doing.
Now, and Sony introduced their new motion controller, which it looks like
It's a Wiimote.
It's clearly a prototype, so we don't know how it's going to look.
Correct.
But it is much closer to the Wiimote style.
It was
but
a little bit of
is
a
direct one-to-one, and it works in conjunction with the
EyeSight.
PlayStation Eye
PlayStation
camera to be able to pick out exact motion. So it
And
can
where it
keep
is
you
in
in the
present-
game.
yeah.
And it also does depth, which the
yeah.
Wiimote does not.
Yeah.
And it can replace that thing in your hand with something else in the game. That's what the tech demo that we saw replaces it with a sword or a.
It's something that doesn't sound as good as it looks, and
yes.
I assume feels from looking at it. I will say, I got a breakdown for you.
Break it down.
Break it down.
I think that the Wii Plus is kind of like the uncanny valley of the motion controllers, in that the plusness just nudges it a little bit forward.
So it's like good enough, but now it's even closer
now
to good
it
enough that it
shows-
really shows how precise it is.
Not precise
Yeah.
it is.
Interesting.
I'm excited about what Microsoft is doing, not for video game playing, for worldwide implementation.
Yeah.
For what it's going to do
Minority Report-esque.
Yeah, for when I go to the airport, there might be an implementation for this.
Right.
When I just with the lights in
So
my
you can,
house
like, take
saying good
airplanes
night
down?
and the lights.
Yeah.
I mean, I was waiting for
That's the PS1. That's PS3 ones. Well, but also you
and
stand up. It's got facial recognition, so you stand in front of your TV, and now it's logging you in because it knows you. But also menu. I mean, I can see the girls in our lives sitting down on the couch and doing this to choose the movie we want.
And then I think Sony nailed it in that they realized that I don't think that playing a video game, I'm going to stand and mine.
Right.
I want to actually do it. So when
Right.
you're sword fighting, we can now have lightsaber battles, not with something that kind of does it and gets it a little bit right, with something that literally I'm holding a lightsaber. I mean, George Lucas and ILM are putting it in there later,
Right.
but I'm basically doing it.
But I think the key on it is that they're actually three companies that are not doing the same thing.
I love that.
This
No, I
isn't
love
the three solutions to the same problem.
Yes.
It's three solutions to three different problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think when we saw the sort of mock-up Microsoft video of people going like this
Yeah.
and shifting and then doing rivets, that stuff didn't play for me. I kind of groaned. But
Yeah.
when we saw the Peter Molyneux idea, Milo, where it's really about a new way of interacting in a world and a new way of creating a world, and you don't do anything because, like you say, you're miming or doing charades.
Yeah.
You're actually interacting in a completely natural way that doesn't require you that the control increases your immersion rather than creates some sort of false reality.
They also said that they wanted to take the controller. I mean, Peter Molyneux was talking about the fact that taking the controller out of the whole element, even if you're doing one-to-one, really, you still have this fake thing that's in your hand. You're not interacting with it.
But I think
being
that's a
behind this
good thing in the Sony implementation, which is if there is something really in my hand, I should really have something in my hand.
Yeah, it better act
And
the
this-
way.
yeah.
It better act the way it should.
So I think
that's all the
I'm
motion
excited.
control
Yeah.
stuff. There's a lot of other shit.
What about games?
Yeah.
What about games? You want to start with one that blew you away? There's a ton of stuff.
The games that blew me away, Uncharted 2, I was already excited, and I'm now still excited. It didn't like renew any bigger. Just said confirmed. Yep, I'm happy.
It blew me to a place where I'm now very excited for that game.
Excellent.
Hopefully we'll get some hands-on later in the week with that game.
Yeah, that'd
But
be
let's
nice.
stay on Sony for a
Okay,
second.
okay.
God of War 3?
God of War 3 looked great. I mean, I played Shadow of the Colossus. Or not Shadow.
Chains of Olympus.
Chains of Olympus on
PS.
But you haven't liked
and
the
I
console
played,
version, so this will be.
You're right. I mean, it was okay. The console versions have always been okay, but I mean, this is the next gen version.
The grandiosity looks
Yeah.
just
Well,
staggering.
and the gore, and I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys about Assassin's Creed 2 because you guys were less than thrilled by the original.
Assassin's Creed 2, the gameplay footage that we watched has done exactly what the gameplay footage that we watched of Drake's Uncharted did to me. I am so excited for that game.
I'm puzzled by this.
I'm puzzled by you.
Because actually,
both.
both those trailers don't
They're
seem
not trailers,
to
they're
say.
gameplay.
Both those gameplay trailers.
Well, somebody actually playing it, but I know what you mean.
I think
Wait, let me
they've
just say
learned
something.
the lesson from the first game.
I'm going to say both those gameplay trailers seem to show exactly the same kind of gameplay that was in the first iterations of those
I
games.
disagree. The combat system in Drake's Uncharted 2 looks way better than Drake's.
It's the same.
It didn't look like to me.
You say Drake's, it's Uncharted, and the first one was Drake's Fortune.
and this
that's
one's
like
Among Thieves.
Among Thieves, yeah.
Right. With Assassin's Creed, it really looks like it took out the sort of like. I mean, I would be shocked now after seeing that I would have to get on a horse and slowly trot it miles.
You might. We have to talk about some of the Nintendo stuff. Two
Okay.
new Mario games. We played Super Mario Brothers today.
It was okay.
I mean,
Okay. I think maybe without the competitive stuff, I'm gonna like it because I really like the new Super Mario-ness of
Yeah.
it. But it was just okay.
We started screwing each other rather than working together.
And I did it all accidentally. I just was trying
I know,
to get
you
to my
bump
thing.
people into things.
Little Big Planet's like that too. It's sort of. Or what does it
maybe.
say about?
So what do you guys think
our-
about Galaxy 2? We only saw
I think
a
it
little
looks
bit.
a little bit like a map pack. Like,
Yeah.
as we've gotten
Well, the
more
Yoshi stuff-
Marios, usually the next major iteration of Mario is a huge departure stylistically.
Yeah.
And this isn't
Well,
that, and it's a
well,
little
this is
disappointing.
two,
But I
but this
loved
is
Galaxy
two.
so much that I'm excited.
Exactly. I agree with that completely.
And what do you guys think of Metroid?
Metroid looks awesome. You know, Team Ninja is a very capable studio. I think it's awesome. I feel like they're
Like
going
it's
to inject
3D
some new
or
life into
the-
it. It looks awesome.
Yeah. So also, we should just touch on the Wii Vitality sensor,
Wait, what
just
about,
to touch on it.
Yeah.
That's
touch on
it.
it.
I've touched on it.
I think there's something.
It's a
There
thing.
are some
What do you guys
stuff.
think of MAG? It was back to Sony's press conference.
The 256 player.
Here's my
first-person
thing with
shooter.
Mac. Great
Massively
that they
online.
technically can do it, but for me, I feel like I played this game 4 years ago on the PC, and I've gone through that fun time.
Well, here's-
and now sitting on a couch, that kind of gets some bonus, but
I totally agree with you, and that's how it looked to me. I was
Yeah.
thinking the exact same thing. I think it's a game that you have to be playing. I presume you have to be playing to get it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
on the surface, it just does look like Battlefield. But what's amazing is that those background noises that we hear in Battlefield
Yeah.
in this game are actual squads going off to doing something. And I found it very hard to grasp the squad commander mechanic.
well, I was just
and
about to
doing
say,
all that
I think
stuff.
that is what's going to make it rise above, is the fact that when you, as the squad commander, say we Squad A are doing this.
You have
as
to do
Squad,
that
well,
mission.
no, you don't have to. But when you
If you
go
don't-
do it,
yeah.
you get bonus XP.
So basically, you're
so
going to
you
do it.
level
Yeah.
faster, and that's what gets people from doing the I'm a sniper and I'm just going to sit around.
My
'Cause
biggest
that was
comment
everybody,
on
but-
that game is that if you're gonna have a game that supports 256 players, you need to raise the cap of my friends list.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
You have to.
What's the PS3 cap on the friends list?
I don't. I think it's
100?
around 100. I think it's
Just
something
like
like that.
Xbox?
I think it's something like that.
Interesting.
Microsoft stuff. Halo ODST.
Nothing for me.
Well, the Halo
Zero.
stuff, I'm just a little done with the Halo stuff.
I kind of feel that way too.
I think
it'll be fun to play.
After seeing the trailer for, they played Modern Warfare 2 trailer before that, and
Well,
seeing
that's
some
the other
other
thing.
first-person
Modern
shooters,
Warfare 2.
you realize Halo
What
did
about-
something amazing
Well,
once, and it's just
What
been
they really did was
slowly-
they played the Modern Warfare 2 back to back with the new Final Fantasy trailer, and to me it was like, oh my god, a stark contrast of how gaming has changed in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So
More of that, bitches.
Alan effing Wake.
Alan
Now, Alan
effing
Wake
Wake.
is the one game that I want to play the most coming out of
Give the
this
history.
show.
It's got a long history, right?
Well,
been
yeah, I mean, it was
bouncing around
announced.
for
It's the guys who
ages.
did Max Payne, and it's
Oh,
been underdeveloped for a long, long time. And it looks to me like what I wanted next-gen Silent Hill to be. It just looks amazing. Looks like the storytelling is really interesting. It looks like it looks like it has this kind of
Using
serialized TV show style presentation.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah,
tell
which
if
I
that was
dig
the
that.
game or
Or
that
just
was
the trailer.
presentation.
Yeah.
But the visuals were amazing.
I'm gonna say that was the best graphics of all of Assassin's Creed, Uncharted.
Splinter Cell, guys.
I am so excited
Sure.
for Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell, Modern Warfare, Alan Wake, all of those came out of the Microsoft press conference. The Microsoft press conference was the press conference where people literally would jump out of their seat in excitement of the things that they were being shown.
Yeah. Splinter Cell.
No.
I think
Yeah.
we've talked
There's a lot of really good
both
stuff.
on camera and off, debated hotly the idea of how do video games tell a story that isn't just aping film or aping some other medium.
They
and
nailed it.
I wonder if this could be a crack in that problem
Yeah.
of the Splinter Cell, like seeing it integrated into the world. You're exploring the world and you're seeing things. I don't know if it's going to be something like it, but it seems so innovative.
When you grab somebody by the throat and you're starting to ask them questions, and on the surrounding walls, the flashback sequences are being played as, I mean, it's like,
I think that's
It's very cool.
visually very cool. I don't know that I'm.
but think about it.
saving
I
You're
wanna
never
see how they do
But
it.
think about it. You are controlling the guy. You are never being taken out of the game to see a CG
Yeah.
cutscene or even an in-game
I think it's
engine
very
cutscene.
interesting.
No
Also having a very
cutscenes.
I mean, you're saying that as if, look, nothing
Well, but
is
you're
breaking
saying-
reality other than this bizarre. There's a projector.
It's not breaking
somewhere.
reality. It's not breaking reality. It's
I'm being
stopping the
coy,
action.
but-
It's stopping the action.
All right. Speaking
Anyway,
of stopping the action,
I'm very excited.
Time to stop.
Wait,
Time
is
to
there
stop the
anything?
action.
Is there anything that we've forgotten?
There's tons of stuff we've
Star
forgotten.
Wars freaking Old Republic. Are you kidding me?
hurting
This
me.
is the game that I am the most excited about. Yes, we didn't see gameplay stuff, but I will say this again. I say this on everything I can talk about. Every person that will put a camera in my face. The fact that those guys delivered a cinematic trailer that is exactly what I want from anything that happens in Star Wars means that they are taking that feeling and putting it into the game that they're making. Yes, I don't know what that's going to look like, but that feeling is
Let
in
me
that
just
game.
caveat.
little-
Let me just
little
put
much.
Alex's. Let me just describe the lover pants that Alex is wearing.
Yeah,
because
he's got leather
any
pants.
other game, if we just see a cinematic
Yeah,
trailer for
he's
that's
like
amazing.
Mr.
He's like,
Mr.
what?
Skeptic.
I don't know anything about it. This is something.
MMO Star Wars game.
And he's
I
like,
spent
whatever.
like 3 years on Star Wars Galaxies.
You have the right to be completely
So excited.
irrational about at least one
totally,
game.
totally.
All right.
Yes, that's true.
All right, here we are, the end of day 2 or 3, depending on how you judge it, of E3. We lost us an Alex Albrecht,
But we
but
gained.
some might say we one-upped Alex Albrecht. See what I
nice,
did there?
nice,
We got
nice.
us a David Ellis from OneUp.com.
This is not a fair trade. You guys.
I agree.
downgrade
We got
confirmed.
way better. No, it's awesome. We're very excited to have him, a bona fide expert of video gaming. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we saw today. You're welcome to jump into the stuff you saw today, but I know the first thing we saw today you had seen yesterday, which
Yes.
was Left 5 Dead, I like to call it, or Left 4 Dead 2.
Yes.
And you got to play with a very special someone. But what did you think of the game?
Well, It's Left 4 Dead. There's not much to add to it. I mean, it didn't seem very different to me. I played it for about 20 minutes, so I don't know how long you guys played. But the characters are all new. Obviously, the new additions, the melee stuff with
Axe
axes.
wielding,
Yes.
yeah, very cool.
I feel like Left 4 Dead was a short game. You could play a lot of it,
Right.
like a fighting game or whatever.
I certainly got $60 worth of fun out of the first one.
And they did support it after launch with release of free DLC. They didn't charge for it. But for me, I really think the $60 price point is so wrong on this. And unfortunately, it's almost like a decision by Microsoft. I think $40 is a sweet spot for the Left 4 Dead, what it's offering you.
For the Left 2 Dead?
Yeah, I really think it should be.
I feel like the more I play Left 4 Dead, the shallower it becomes to me.
You kind of start to peer behind the curtain.
And I'm just
kinda
like,
start
so
to predict
all
it.
I'm doing, I feel like the only fun is the communal experience of there's
But that
actually
is a lot of fun.
I think there's 0 to 10 on a 100-point scale challenge. There's very little challenge. I know all I can do is hold the trigger down, and all I can do is shoot as many, and that's not that difficult. I'm just doing all that I can at the moment. There's no figuring anything out. There's no skill to get better at.
Well, there's a skill to get better at, a shooting zombies skill. All right, we also saw a couple of driving games. I don't know if you had a chance to see them. We saw Need for Speed Shift and Split Second. Did you get a chance to see either of those?
I didn't see them at Show 4, but I played them previously. Which ones did you guys like?
Well, I know Dan was doing backflips over Split Second.
I'm doing backflips, so it's a combination of two of my favorite games. Burnout and Stuntman.
Yeah, he's the
I
only one
love
on the
the
planet who
Stuntman
likes
games.
Stuntman.
I'm not the
At
only
least
one.
I think so.
But split second that I played it, you said on the live show, best explosions.
Well, I know that you agree with that. Yeah, best explosions
Not just best
ever
explosions.
rendered.
What's so great about them is they're like those sparks. There's like those
and
sparks.
smoke that
Beautiful.
happens in a way that you don't usually see.
And the building collapsing, it is epic.
Yeah, and it's actually nice. I think this is the first time there's been potentially a real contender to Burnout. It's kind of owned this kind of arcade racing space for a long time.
We can't go too much longer without getting to the game that I think Dan and I it surprised me and floored me just visually, and how big it's changed from the first iteration, and that is Mass Effect 2. Did you get a chance to see Mass Effect 2?
We did have a live demo yesterday, but I haven't played it yet. Did you guys?
No,
play
we
it?
did not get a chance to play it, but we saw the demo.
Yeah.
God, it's gorgeous.
It is.
It is absolutely stunning. Dan, I know you had after you had done the backflips from the split second, then you landed.
A handspring into a handspring. Dude, beautiful. I was telling Patrick on the live show that, the first one that had that film grain mode that made it look like 80s film grain, they're doing something similar here, but not to make it look like old aged film. It just looks like it's shot on film. It looks like a video game that is a movie, as in it's shot on the format that movies are shot on. It looks beautiful.
They really stepped up the cinematic presentation. There's one scene that we saw that was in a car, well, not a car, a space car.
Right. It was like the scene from Attack of the Clones.
Exactly. Yeah, with
riding through the city as
without
Anakin
annoying Anakin Skywalker.
Right. And there's kind of like zoom, 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 and the camera is panning back and forth. And I don't know why more games don't use cinematic presentation of dialogue moments.
Usually the games are like, hi, we're having a conversation, and then it flips around and we're having a conversation. So why not do the West Wing walk and talk as you're having that conversation?
Well, I think there's also some specific things from a technical perspective that we improved upon. There was stuff that we couldn't do in the previous dialogue and cinematic system, but I mean, you're seeing some cool scenes. Hey, you're flying through the city, and you're actually even having a conversation.
It's spectacular.
Yeah,
it really
is.
is.
We couldn't do that in the first one. I mean,
camera moving around.
but also in that conversation in the vehicle, characters these are they look like little things, but they're actually big technical jumps that we take every time, and to create those, that's what gives us the even more engaging cinematic experience. It's
Absolutely. Interrupt feature and conversations. So you actually kind of say, I'm kind of talking, I'm just going to act now.
Yeah, it blew us away.
It really, really did. And
I would guess a lot of that reason is the people making these games aren't filmmakers.
Yeah. These guys are That's what I thought. I was like, who the frick directed this game? Because there's some sequences, and not even the cinematic sequences, though they were great, but just when the guy was moving the character around and exploring a ship that was half exploded, the way that moment played out, even though he was playing it, was so cinematic when that red light room, and then all of a sudden it got blue and quiet because there was no more air in the room. It was amazing, breathtaking.
And you know, I'm on record as being a guy who did not like the first Mass Effect, but it looks like they really did some improvements on the combat system because it is much more real time, much more. It seems more like a third-person shooter.
More action than RPG.
Yeah.
I actually have a minor gripe with the combat in that the extra violence they've added into it, they were really pushing
blood
that.
splattered everywhere.
Legs falling off.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with that, but it seems so far removed from the first game where combat was almost a sterility to it, which I actually thought fit in with the whole space futuristic vibe. And I don't know, you see someone crawling towards you very closely, and then you have Shepard rolling up and like finishing them off. It feels more Gears of War than Mass Effect, and I'm not sure yet if I like that.
Well, I think even story-wise, he was saying this definitely is pitched to us without actually saying it as the Empire Strikes Back.
Totally.
Thing. So I think that fits in a little bit. I mean, Empire was not that dark, but
it was one dismemberment.
Yeah.
They also talked about a feature that has been sort of promised for 10, 20 years in video games, and nobody has ever really done it, which is your save game from the first game actually has bearing on the sequel. So if you have your save game from Mass Effect, all the character stuff that you did there to build your role-played character is supposed to be carried over into this one.
And that should be interesting, but of course, hope springs eternal for Two Human 2. Maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll
strangely
get that.
not here at the show.
the next most anticipated game
Go ahead.
was Alan Wake.
Yes. We saw the extended presentation of Alan Wake just moments ago, actually.
Yeah.
It is maybe the one or two most excited game for me that I just really want to play right now. What do you think about
Definitely Mass Effect 2 and Alan Wake are neck and neck, and like, oh my god, I don't know which one is better looking. I don't know which one I want to play more. A couple things about Alan Wake. One, it's new. Like, it is not another third-person shooter. It is not Gears of War. It's not. It's like it's a new idea for a game in the way you fight things and play.
Is it new?
I think so. This game is so much more cinematic than any episode of television. The slow motion moments where they're going into the look of the trees, the atmosphere is, they reference Twin Peaks. It's cooler looking than Twin Peaks, my friends. But the premise is that these people in this town have been overtaken by the darkness. So, but not just people, it's like Maximum Overdrive style, like machines, any object. So any object in this game is your enemy, theoretically, at different parts. When they're in the darkness. And you use your flashlight in what is an aesthetically gorgeous presentation of, like, things become sparky and a fire to make them vulnerable.
It's like you're exercising the demon.
It looks just that little bit we saw. I think there's going to be so much great puzzle, game, suspense stuff with getting to the light and utilizing light when your flashlight runs out and you think, oh God, how am I going to, but there's a light source, so whatever it is. Not only that, but just like Uncharted, where the supporting cast made the story of the game so enjoyable, it wasn't just like raw AI. Regardless of the AI, just having a character that's so lifelike and so well written, as much as we saw, makes playing the game so much more fun.
Sounds like you were a little less excited about it.
A little bit. No, but my thing is, I've been interested for this game for a long time. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
I will not deny that the tech behind it is fantastic. The game is gorgeous. Everything you said is right. But the combat, when the demo they showed, it really reminded me a lot of Alone in the Dark. It came out last year.
Interesting.
Which was a bit of a letdown for me. It looked interesting. It did a lot of cool things using light and dark and stuff like that.
I didn't see as much fire as Alone in the Dark seemed to exhibit.
Not quite. But for me, the demo they showed, it felt a little clunky. Like,
really?
I don't know. It's like run up, pull a switch, turn on light, stand really, really still and hold your light until they spark, and then suddenly you can kill them. I don't know. It just seems clunky. Obviously, I haven't got my hands on it yet.
Yeah.
My opinion certainly could change.
I'm excited about the story elements of that game because it seems like you said, they really took some time, cast good voice actors. It seems well written. It's not. I was sitting there in the demo and I was struck by, we saw Alpha Protocol yesterday, and while that game looks kind of interesting, it looks like it was written by an 8-year-old boy rather than a writer. Let's wrap this up with one last game because we did see BioShock 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw BioShock 2, but
I've not seen it here, but I've seen it previously.
they were really making a big point to push the multiplayer, which will be a first for BioShock. I think BioShock is one of my top 5 games of all time. And oddly, I'm not that excited for BioShock 2, but the multiplayer is really interesting in that they're really trying to create a story-driven multiplayer experience. So the game BioShock 2 is set 10 years after the events of BioShock 1, but the multiplayer of BioShock 2 is set a year before BioShock. So it's a prequel multiplayer and a sequel single player. And I think that's really clever and interesting, and you'll be able to have your own sort of room in Rapture that you will use during multiplayer that I assume you'll store your trophies or whatever it is that you get.
Also, you load out radio recorders since they seem to be everywhere. You pick your loadout. You pick your plasmids and your weapons. You can do it in menus and hop right into a game. So you have that option, or you can really sort of invest yourself in the world and be in this room before you go into the fight, which isn't just random. It actually makes sense story-wise.
All right, so David Ellis, where can we find you? What do you want to plug?
You can find me, of course, oneup.com and I guess twitter.com/David Ellis. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll punch this out. You want to punch out with us?
Sure.
Will Townsend. He's the producer on DJ Hero, which is Guitar Hero, but Scratch style, DJing it up. Tell us a little bit. This is the controller that you're going to get. It's pretty interesting looking. Tell us a little bit about the controller and the game, please.
So you being a Guitar Hero guy, I'll talk to you about it in Guitar Hero terms.
Cool.
Right? So first up, I've got these fretboard buttons, right? Just like on your guitar. And so this is going to be record number 1. This is going to be our sample stream. And this is record number 2. And so I can do presses, just like in Guitar Hero.
Wow.
Or I can press and hold down to do scratches.
Oh, look at that.
And if I get really fancy, I've got free rotation. So during gameplay, we've actually added it in that you could actually do rewinds.
So I'll be pressing this button and then moving, and I assume my other hand will be up here like this.
Pretty much, yes, or fist pumping. Yeah, it's one of the two. However you want to have your DJ Hero stance. I'm a fist pumper.
I love it.
Some people like the shoulder crouch, you know. There's 3 of us, right?
Yep.
So you can be on the guitar. I'll be on the DJ turntable.
I don't want to sing.
I don't want me to totally MC. You can plug in a microphone
You're singing.
at any time.
I don't want me to sing.
How about some shout outs to your peeps, you know?
He doesn't have any
So
peeps.
wait, singing the song or just singing little whatever I want to do?
You can do whatever you want to do. It's
I see.
absolutely free.
Yeah,
what?
what's? Okay, cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the explanation of the game. We're excited to play it.
Very cool.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, man.
Take
Awesome.
care, brother.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. E3 done. You can see they're tearing stuff down right now. But that doesn't mean that we can't talk to you about our day 3 of E3, which was jam-packed with awesome.
This was the big day. This is our biggest day.
Yeah, I think I saw the most things that I'm thrilled about today.
Yes.
Let's start at the end with the last thing we saw.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to do that?
I do.
Okay.
We literally moments ago just stepped out of a behind closed doors, very super crazy security style showing of James Cameron's Avatar, the game.
From Ubisoft.
They brought us into a room with a 103-inch prototype plasma screen television.
Which they didn't need to show us a game. They could have had security and brought us into a room to see a 103-inch 3D plasma television.
Yeah, it was
screen,
3D too. We
fine.
wore glasses. The game was presented in 3D. I don't know. They didn't really specify whether or not that was going to be a feature, but it certainly was the game.
Yeah.
The lights dimmed. It started up. I haven't seen anything about James Cameron's Avatar, the movie, as far as assets or what it's going to look like, but it was a lush, tropical environment.
Green, rainforesty.
The sitting down, the getting ready, the intense security, the 3D, the TV, all of it brought me to this point of, my God. And I don't know if anything could have lived up to the expectation, because really, there's not going to be able to make a game that looks that much better than anything else.
Well, actually, for me, it was more like, I don't even know. I'm not quite sure I know how I feel about the game, because the experience was so like, I could have looked at like
zeroing, and I would be like, oh my god, what am I seeing? This is so secret.
Yeah, 90% of the games we saw here shown on a 103-inch plasma screen TV in the perfect viewing environment would have blown our socks off.
I think we're not getting Jim Cameron's next sci-fi movie. We're getting his next fantasy movie. While there's definitely sci-fi elements at play, we have ships that look a lot like those aliens ships, or even things from Terminator.
It felt like something Jim Henson would have made in the 80s.
Yeah, the game. I think there's some cool stuff. I mean, it's not.
Here's the thing. I wear a little bit of hater pants on it just because the ramp up maybe raised expectations a little high, but it's really just a very standard third-person shooter.
There's some cool stuff in it, though, as far as third-person
graphically, it looks very pretty.
I'm more excited to play this game than I am for. I know Halo's not third-person, but I'm way more excited for this than I am for Halo ODST. Or any. If they announced Halo 4, I mean,
Reach.
I mean, honestly, there are some cool things at play here.
It feels very Gears of War, and it looks very pretty. It's very colorful. I just was a little disappointed that it's just a standard third-person shooter.
Yeah.
Okay, well now let's start back at the beginning of our day. The first thing we saw today was Tony Hawk's Ride, and we got to hop on the skateboard.
Yeah.
Peripheral controller thing. What were your thoughts?
I wish Alex was here.
Yeah, he's really the skateboard guy.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say, I was definitely more impressed. I think it works much better than I imagined it would work. And it's better than, I think people that are skeptical of it will see that, oh no, there's something to this for sure. I don't think I will play it. I don't think this is the next Tony Hawk game. You know what I mean?
You don't think it's the next Guitar Hero that's gonna like sweep the nation?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it's good. It's quality wise, like Guitar Hero. But I'm not gonna want to do that.
I thought it was gonna be kind of a joke, and they've done something very smart, which is what Guitar Hero did too, which was difficulty levels really allow it to be. You're not falling all the time. Like one of the things when we played those Wii balance board skateboard games is that it was just like we kept bumping into the furniture, and I mean not literally, but you know in the game we would bump into stuff and fall over.
Right.
And it was it didn't welcome you in, and I think the introductory difficulty level that we played.
It kind of guides you places.
You don't have to worry about getting to the cool thing.
Right.
You just have to do the right thing at the right time.
And then if you get better.
If you get better, they have it where it takes the training wheels off.
Right.
We went over to Ubisoft and we saw two games, Splinter Cell Conviction and Assassin's Creed 2. And I will say, coming out of the press conferences, despite the fact that I didn't really like the first Assassin's Creed, I was way excited about Assassin's Creed 2. And I've never been a big Splinter Cell fan. I just, for some reason though, that type of stealth game never really clicked with me.
Right.
So I was really up on Assassin's Creed 2 and really sort of blasé about Splinter Cell Conviction. And coming out of seeing our sort of up close and personal with them, I completely flip-flopped. Because Assassin's Creed 2 looks like they really went with more of the same. Although stunning design, an environment that I really want to explore, but they definitely have kept the hold one button and push forward and you climb. They really kept it simple. Supposedly going to be more mission types, but
they really champion the small input, big output. So you don't have to do much to be rewarded with a lot.
Yeah, talk about the combat system, because that kind of really
the combat system is the exact same thing as the other one. It's kind of a rhythm game. I didn't mind that stuff as much as you guys did in the first one, so I'm still pleased, and because of the other things that are amazing about this game, I'm definitely still excited. I wish that they did things to convert other people. I prefer being more challenged with the navigation, but I still really enjoy the way this game works that way. Splinter Cell really turning the corner, because what they showed in the press conference, they showed us basically the same thing. However,
it looked cool, but
knowing what we didn't know the details of what we were seeing. So there's two really amazing things that they do with the gameplay of Splinter Cell. One, marking the bad guys, like you would in a Rainbow Six game, to then have your like other dudes come and fight them. In this game, you mark the bad guys, and then when you're ready to break through the door, you do it, and you hit a button, and it does that execution.
But
which is awesome looking.
You have to earn it, which is key. I think it's not just It's not just a sort of simplified mechanic. You have to kill someone up close and personal in order to earn the right to do that, and you get these tokens, and then you can spend those tokens on quick kills. So it's sort of like chaining together. And then the other thing that they showed that they didn't even touch upon in the press conference presentation, which is the last known position mechanic, where the last time the enemy sees you, it automatically creates a sort of silhouette. So that's the last place they thought you were, so that you can plan your takedown of the room by peeking your head up. They see you, they rush over that way, and then you come around a different way, and they're looking for you, and you attack them from behind.
Which is
awesome.
Brilliant, A, that is happening. B, it's brilliant because this is something that has always happened in stealth games like Metal Gear, whatever, where you're somewhere and then they're trying to find you and you're running around, but you never really knew what the enemy is thinking.
Right.
And you couldn't really use that to your advantage because you didn't know. And now this is like bringing to the surface what has always been going on
in a very
games.
elegant way.
Yeah.
It's not intrusive. It's not like, well, I gotta push a button and then it seems like a very elegant solution to that.
Yeah.
We also saw Modern Warfare 2, which was basically the a playthrough of a longer playthrough of what we saw in the press conference.
Amazing.
Holy crap! Are those animations?
Yeah.
Incredible.
So true, so real.
The things he does look so completely real. It is absolutely stunning.
And beyond that, what I'll remind everyone what you said about Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1, that it's a badass simulator.
Yes.
And everything in this game is designed to make you feel like you are freaking awesome.
You know what?
It's not like you're struggling to survive and you're, and it's not. It's all created to make you feel like I'm killing that guy, I'm killing that guy. But it's all choice. It's not like it's a QuickTime event to make you feel like a badass. It's all game designed into making you do this.
You know, I think the thing you want to talk about a lot is Scribblenauts.
Yeah, dude.
It's a DS game. It's interesting, you know, when you're walking around E3, we had our appointments, we're going to things, we're seeing stuff, but you bump into people, you bump into friends, other gaming guys.
Co-op guys, for instance.
And everybody's sort of buzzing about things. There's people buzzing about stuff. And the game that kept coming up, everybody's saying, you gotta see Scribblenauts, you gotta see Scribblenauts. So we went over to Warner Brothers and checked out Scribblenauts.
Little DS game. We're seeing these amazing every game is like
it's
the most
from
amazing
the guys that
graphics
did
ever.
Drawn to Life.
Right.
And which was sort of like you get to fill in your own content to a certain extent, and they've really taken that concept and run with it.
Yeah.
You pull down a keyboard, and you type in any word, a noun, not proper nouns, but generic nouns.
For instance, there's two modes. There's the game, the puzzle mode, and there's an open world. In the open world, you could type in pirate, and you can type in ninja. And a pirate and a ninja will show up, and they will fight each other.
Yeah. And the puzzle element is like there's a thing you need to accomplish, and you get points for accomplishing it in as few steps as possible. But you also get points for being as creative as you can. So if there's some wild outside the box way of accomplishing that goal, for instance, the one very, very simple thing we saw was a guy was out in the sun in the desert and was parched. Now you can make a glass of water show up. You can make a swimming pool show up. You can make a squirt gun. You can make a flood. Anything you type happens.
Yeah.
And then it gets infinitely more complicated from there. The puzzle elements get crazier. And the game also awards you in these kind of achievements almost of coming up with bizarre approaches. So if you make a stampede of elephants run across the thing somehow, that makes it work,
right.
It recognizes that you were smart. Let's talk first about the PSP Go. What'd you think of it?
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you ready to trade in your PSP and get one?
Yeah, I would.
I kind of am too.
Yeah.
And you know, the biggest thing for me was the new placement of the joystick, the nub, because I always hated it on the PSP. It kind of gives me weird hand cramp. And it felt very natural now, and I was more inclined to use it instead of the D-pad. And I think that alone is exciting, but it's also smaller and cuter and thinner and lighter,
I'm down.
Cuter, did I say cuter?
Yeah, you did.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
But you got to see
Little Big Planet. It's awesome. It's Little Big Planet.
And I got to see Gran Turismo, which is Gran Turismo on a handheld, like full-on Gran Turismo, crazy.
I can just quickly say, Uncharted 2 delivers on the promise that has been promised to me with every piece of information we've been given about that game.
Yes.
God of War 3, samesies. Mag,
Let's talk about God of War 3 a little more in depth, because people have seen the video from the press conference, but we got to see we got to play an extended bit that goes beyond that point, and it is so awesome. There's a sequence where you fly up this tunnel where stuff's coming at you. It is so cinematic and so crazy.
That's what's great about the God of War games in general, is they create those sequences that are like, you remember that sequence.
Yes. Dude, that game looks so hardcore and crazy and awesome. Anyway, but
I was gonna say Mag, I was disappointed in. I was
very
telling
brown.
the co-op guys that all the crazy things they've told us about it, 256 players, every sound effect I hear is because of something that a player is doing, that there's a general, and all crazy.
Yeah.
But you take all that away from it, and the actual just playing of the game, it's less than every other multiplayer game I could play.
Well, it's interesting because you played the sort of regular soldier, and I was on the other machine playing the commander, and I wonder if you would have liked that a little more, because there's certainly more options. You can tag things and give people, but you're right, the 256-ness of it is so impressive that I want the game to be a little bit more jump in and play. But I'll tell you what, my brother-in-law, who's a former Marine, I think he will freaking love that game, because I think it's really geared for the total SOCOM military, because it's got so much information that they're giving you on the screen at any given time that it's very tactical. It's
like
very
a sim.
procedural.
It's like a driving sim. Like it's like Gran Turismo.
But it's also all about know your role and do your role and be a good soldier. And I think that there are a good portion of people that are really drawn to that team thing and having a great clan.
Team America, World Police.
Yeah, America.
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
We got to play it.
Yeah.
It's weird that Sony didn't make a big deal about that at their press conference, because it is playable, and we played it. And I have to say, playing is believing on Heavy Rain, because
box quote.
The control scheme is unlike any game you have ever played in your life. And when people like, I was on Listen Up the other night with Mark McDonald, and he said, "Oh, it's a Dragon's Lair Redux," you know, because that's what people see in that video is, "Oh, it's just point this way, do that."
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You are playing a cinematic experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It's weird that I can't quite wrap my brain on how to describe it. It's not a video game, and it's not a movie.
Yeah.
It's they found a way to make you play, not a movie, but play a story in a completely unique way that it makes you feel like you're controlling the protagonist of a movie. It doesn't make you feel like a character. It doesn't make you...
And it doesn't make you feel like you're just playing out a cutscene.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you feel like you're just doing a QuickTime event at all. You pull the L2 at any time, or L1, I think it was L2, and you see what that character is thinking about.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's done in such a graphically awesome way, like these sentences kind of float and rotate around them, and if they're in a different state of mind, maybe those sentences are kind of fuzzy or wavy, or it is absolutely unique storytelling. Yeah. I cannot wait to play.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up by saying, game of show, Dan Trachtenberg. What is the game, if you only have one right now?
So game, not thing of show.
What do you mean by thing of show?
Because,
like PSP Go?
Well, Natal, Sony controller.
I want to talk about games that you want to go home and play right now.
Here's the thing, is that I have to think about games that, down the road, it may be Uncharted 2 or Assassin's Creed 2, whatever, that is the thing that I play the most and I had the most fun with. But right now at the show, the thing that blew my mind
and
the most,
you could take home right now and go play, they're like, you know what, Dan? You get this to go home and play right now.
I'm gonna tie.
Oh, you cheater!
Because it's Scribblenauts and Mass Effect 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Mine is, well, if we're doing two, mine is Uncharted 2. Game of show. It is so awesome. And the best graphics, the most exciting gameplay, fun, smart, funny, great story. It is going to be a phenomenal game. And I will also say...
you're not getting any feedback.
My number two would be
what am I saying?
Heavy Rain.
Yeah. I can't get
Scribblenauts is in there too. Scribblenauts looks awesome.
Here's the thing is, all of those are amazing. It's just what...
And Alan Wake is great. there are great games we've talked about all week, but I think if I could only own one console right now, it's the PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Going to their booth was like, everything here is amazing, and everywhere else was like, that's awesome. It's not.
Everything here is amazing, and I can only play it on this console.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is what Jack Tretton was saying the whole time at the press conference.
Yeah. So, but great stuff all around, and we miss Alex, and hope he comes back soon to see all the stuff that he missed out on.
There you go.
So I have a wimpier,
tiny explosion.
Tiny explosion.
Here.
So we had so much crazy amount of stuff that we're going to forgo the email this week. However, we do want to thank our sponsors, such as Brutal Legend. This game is going to rock. If you want to get more in-depth videos, information, some great crazy Jack Black info and trailers and videos, head over to brutallegend.com. Also, when you pre-order the game
From GameSpot,
you can get an in-game replica of the Tenacious D guitar, which they're giving away. More on that in 1 second. As well as new exclusive voiceovers from the Tenacious D guys, Jack and Kyle. But also, if you go to brutallegend.com and you sign up for the newsletter, you are entered to win the $10,000 guitar. Are you kidding me? It's so amazing.
I want to enter that now that I have my skills.
Yes, as you can see, I'm a big Tenacious D fan.
Up here.
So thank you, Brutal Legend.
Also, I need to tell you about GoDaddy. It's your place to go for everything web. Everything web. Everything web.
Back him up.
I really think
With your
so.
skills. Forget it.
They give you 99.9% uptime. That's virtually constant reliability.
I love it.
24/7 support. So in that 0.1%, if anything possibly goes on, they got people on the job ready to help you no matter when.
Amazing.
You can go to their website and they have like 30 free programs that help you squeeze every last bit of awesome out of your web hosting stuff.
Amazing.
GoDaddy.com. It is the place to go to buy your web domain, get your hosting. All that stuff is awesome.
Love it.
We are also sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the place to go to design your website.
Yes.
It is amazing. Basically, it's a WYSIWYG editor, which means it's what you see is what you get.
Amazing.
So you have all this, like when you customize other
My
things.
new site is on there.
Is it live now?
Yeah, it is live. Awesome.
AlexAlbrecht.com. His new site was all designed on Squarespace. It is so sweet looking.
I'm dancing. I don't even know.
Although my site, I don't know if you guys have heard this about my site, jeffcanada.com, which I've been updating, by the way, you should check it out.
Yeah.
My site actually won the science fair.
Really?
Yeah.
It beat out the volcano
It did.
with the smoke.
The technology that Squarespace provides on display in my website
Is better than volcanoes.
better than anything that you can find.
I agree.
Running gun.
I love it. So what do I get? Is there any
is it a
deal that I
promo
can get?
code or is it the
Yeah,
link?
it is. Promo code,
Okay,
baby.
so go to squarespace.com, enter the promo code TRS.
That sounds good to me.
And you get 10% off the lifetime of your order.
Crazy town pants. Also, you heard us talk about Up and some Hangover action, but where we get all of our movie news is /film.com. Those guys are great.
The best.
We've been really having a good time. Still haven't gotten my invitation to be on the /filmcast. I'm sure it is just
Day 32.
I'm sure it's just delayed in the mail somewhere. So check out /film.com.
Alex, I can't take a hint, Albrecht.
Yeah, I love it. Also, even though we did not, we forwent. I don't know why language has left me. Forwent the email this week. If you want your email read on the show, head over to the website using your email account and send an email to fans@totallyratchet.com.
But we have a huge announcement to make.
We do.
We are getting live show mims at ComsyCon.
Yes.
Live freaking
The
show.
rumors are true.
Yeah.
They're trummers.
Year 2, they're
Episode 1.
rumors. It's our second. We were so overwhelmingly successful at Comic-Con.
So,
Last year was amazing.
They invited us back.
The exact same room, the exact same time.
Yes.
Friday night,
7:15. Be there or be
7
square.
a.m.
And here's the deal. Line up early. We
Yeah.
definitely turn people away. And this year is probably only going to be bigger. So please get there
If you haven't
early.
gotten your ticket yet, you're out of luck. Everything's sold out. But if you're coming to Comic-Con and
Friday
you
night
watch this
sold out,
show, everything is sold out.
Sunday, Saturday.
All of it.
All of it.
But if you watch this show and you're going, please come see our show. We'd love to see you.
Yes.
We're gonna have some fun surprises. We'll be hanging out,
It's
shaking
gonna be
hands.
crazy fun, crazy
We'd
fun.
love
And
to meet you.
we're gonna work on getting a meetup afterwards set up, but
Yeah.
we're not. I mean, we
Don't have
just
that
found
set
out about it like yesterday. Actually, literally yesterday. All right, people. Well, that is it for our E3
Don't
coverage.
forget, if you want to turn in a mission video, go
Mission
to
video.
TotallyRadShow.com/missions.
And send in your backgrounds, fans at Totally Rad Show. We had such a blast at E3.
So you can find out what we're going to review ahead of time. And let me just say, we missed Land of the Lost this week.
We did.
So you'll see that review next week. Sorry for the E3 craziness.
E3 crazy.
Don't apologize. It was awesome.
That's it. We'll see you next week and year.
Motion controller.
I'm good. Wow.
Your sword and your shield.
Oh boy. I'm gonna want to do this. Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah, you can
All
see it.
right.
There's up. There you go.
Are you ready? I'm gonna tighten it up.
Yep.
Here's your sword and shield. Now I'm gonna need you to step back to the head 3 times so you can block each other.
Oh, I heard it. Swords clang.
Oh,
Yep. Now when you hear the trumpet, somebody's
what happened?
Oh, I'm hearing trumpets.
you win.
I won. I beat you.
You win, sir. You are the better man.